Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first IDA and LDC meetings of the year. Sorry about that. Just so everybody understands the agendas for today, the way that we're going to have the meetings this morning is we're going to have the annual meeting of the Dutchess County IDA first, followed by the annual meeting of the LDC. And then we're going to have the regular meeting of the IDA and then the regular meeting of the LDC. So, Jasmine, I'd like to open up the annual meeting of the Dutchess County IDA. Could you please take the roll call for participation?
Tim Green, Mark Doyle.
Yep.
Kathy Bauer. Here. Amy Bondaderi.
Here.
Dennis Pacone.
Here.
Don Sagliano. Al Torrigiani.
Here.
Okay, so in the packet we have for the annual meeting, there is a rather large consent agenda. And I hope that folks had an opportunity to read all of the parts of that. And I'm just going to mention the topics. And if anybody has a reason to take anything out for discussion, that would be fine with me. So under the consent agenda, we have approval of minutes from the January 11th, 2023 last annual meeting. We have election of officers for this year, which would be myself as chair, Mark Doyle as vice chair, and Kathleen Bauer as secretary treasurer. We have appointments for our chief financial officer, our compliance officer, our records access officer, which would be Jane Denbaum, records appeal officer, procurement officer, Sarah Lee. We have a renewal of our chief financial officer's bond, IDA membership in New York State EDC, authorization for approval of 2024 expenses incurred.
I can't see everyone on the board.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello there. Okay. All right. Continuing on, authorization of approval for expenses incurred for things from reasonable mileage and reasonable travel expenses. Appointment of members to committees, Audit Committee, Kathleen Bauer, Ronald J. Pacone, Donald Sagliano, that again, Audit Committee, Finance, Kathleen Bauer, Ronald J. Pacone, Donald Sagliano. Governance is the entire board. Readoption of policies, committee charters, disaster recovery plan, internal control assessment acknowledgement, investment policy, local workforce utilization policy, operations and accomplishments, performance-based incentive policy, procurement policy, property disposition policy, real property policy, recapture and or termination of financial assistance for projects, for pilots policy, whistleblower protection policy. We are designating our law firm as Capolino, Rothschild and Egan, LLP, the official newspaper, Poughkeepsie Journal. We have a designation of any commercial bank for, designate depository banks would be any commercial bank in Dutchess County as a depository for IDA funds with no savings banks, just commercial banks, and that any funds deposited over and above the federal maximum of $250,000 for FDIC protection are fully collateralized with securities for the full amount above $250,000. So those are all parts of the consent agenda. Is there anything that anybody would like to pull out for further discussion? Kathleen?
Yes, I have a conflict with the banks because I work for MBT Bank.
Okay, Council, we're not discussing a particular offer at this time. We're just indicating that any commercial bank in Dutchess County could be considered. I don't believe that we have a conflict at this time.
That would be a conflict.
Okay.
Okay. Should we discuss any specific deposits or discussion about where we would deposit the money, then I would accept that.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other discussion?
No.
Okay, if there is not any, would somebody be willing to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Would someone be willing to second that? Thank you, Jamie. Okay, Jasmine, would you please take a vote?
Al Torrigiani.
Approved.
Jane
Pick me
Pacone,
first.
Approved.
Amy Bondieri.
Approve.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Mark Doyle.
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Okay, that moves us to the discussion agenda for the annual meeting. Sarah, just so everybody knows, Sarah's participating from her office as opposed to being here. Sarah, is there anything under old business that needs to be discussed? No, okay. New business. There's a few things that we have here that are in the packet that we need folks to take a look at and sign. And then also just to mention that we've had to redo the uniform tax exemption policy. Just a minor change. There's a new state regulation that about how IDAs must notify under the taxing jurisdictions. And we are required now to send a certified mail notification to the chief executive officer of the municipality as well as the clerk of the school district involved. So the other things are things in your packet that you're going to have to review and sign and get back to Jasmine. Sarah, is there anything in there that requires a vote of any kind?
So it's the mission statement and performance measure policy.
Uh-huh.
Just needs to be re-adopted.
And also the UTA?
Oh, and as well as the UTEP, yes.
Okay, so let's, can we do those together or should we do those separate?
We do them together.
Okay, all right, would somebody be willing to make a motion to accept the revised uniform tax exemption policy as well as the mission statement and performance measurement policy?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Jamie. Would somebody be willing to second that?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Jasmine, would you please take a vote on that?
Al Torrigiani,
Approved.
Jamie Pacone,
Approved.
Amy Bondieri.
Approved.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Mark Doyle,
Approved.
Tim Dean.
Approved. Is there anything else that anybody has to bring before us at this annual meeting? Okay, I'd like to adjourn the annual meeting of the IDA.